Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name's Heather. I am the Software Stamper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from the UK and I'm here today to show you this cute card. I knew as soon as I saw that our blog hop theme this month was animals that I wanted to use this cute hedgehog stamp set. I've since done quite a lot with it, but this was the first card I made, and it's fun fold month for me this month on my blog as well. So trying to do more fun folds, and I love this one. So you pull this little tab here, it opens like a normal card, but then you pull this tab and it reveals this panel underneath. Finding a friend is the best discovery of all, and I thought that just really suited having this cute hedgehog wandering around and then finding a friend. Lovely card to be able to send to somebody in your life. So I'm going to show you, or attempt to show you, how to make this card. And I've got a base of Poppy Parade cardstock. All your instructions are going to be over on my blog, which is just here. The link to the blog will be in the description below as well. So you'll find all of the measurements written down for you. You don't need to get a pen and start scribbling down now. So I've made this card, and it's 14.5 high by 20 centimetres across. So it's a different size to a normal card base. This one is a little bit too big. I didn't factor in when I designed it that it needs to fit into an envelope. So that tab isn't going to fit, it's not going to fold. So I've made it just a little bit narrower, so it's scored at 10, so it's 14.5 by 20, scored in half at 10, and that there is your card base. Then you need a piece of design series paper, and that's 14 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. You're going to need a strip of Poppy Parade cardstock, and that's measuring 6.5 inches by 2 inches, and I've scored it at 2 inches and 2.25 inches, so it's just got this little flap here, and that's what's going to make our pull mechanism. Then we're going to need couple of mats and layers. So this is the largest Stitch So Sweetly die. This is a fab set of dies if you've not seen it before. Got all these layering stitched scallop squares, and then these awesome shapes here as well. So it's the largest and the second largest that I've used. And the largest sits on a panel that is 3 1/8 by 4 1/4, and the second largest sits on a panel that is 2 5/8 by 3 3/4. And then you will need a piece of cardstock, which I haven't cut yet, but for the inside as well. And all I did on the inside was stamp the mushroom and colour that in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try and make this one. First of all, I'm going to decorate my 2 panels. So I'm going to stamp in Memento, and I'm using the Happy Hedgehogs stamp set. I love this one. I am running a class on this, and it will be later in the year. I haven't exactly decided when, but I'll be doing an in-person and an online version. And I'll give you a little sneaky peek. I've used some gorgeous colours. This is one I shared on my blog. There'll be 4 projects, all kind of like this, using this colourway. Fresh, clean, simple, fun, and perfect for spring. Although it might be summer by the time we do it, but yeah. So there'll be an online class and an in-person class where you will get the bundle as well, because it's a bundle, this one, and it comes with its own punch to punch out that hedgehog. Gorgeous, love it, love the bundle. So what we're going to do is stamp in Memento ink. And I'm just going to stamp that on the largest out there. And then I'm going to stamp some small bits of grass, just kind of in line with this other bit here. Okay, and I'm going to go and colour that in. So the colours I've used are, for the whole project, Granny Apple Green, Poppy Parade, Balmy Blue, Daffodil, that's Dark So Saffron actually, Dark So Saffron, and Crumb Cake. And I'm just going to go and colour this in. Please excuse the state of my crumb cake blend. I need a new one, but I keep forgetting to order it. So I'm just going to colour this tree trunk in. A little bit of dark, but mainly light. There's not much room for an awful lot of shading going on in here. And then this is the Dark So Saffron for the flowers. You could use light, I might actually have done that on my main card, light Daffodil Delight as well. It's just this was the first yellow pen I came across actually. But it's not quite as vibrant, it's a bit more muted, So Saffron. The Daffodil Delight is a bit more vibrant, bright, kind of ties into the other colours a bit better, but there we go. You get the idea. Oh, a little bud up there as well. The centre of those is going to be in Light Poppy Parade. Just red centres. I don't think that's actually typical to life, but one of the things I love about crafting is you can do whatever you like. And then I've just gone for light Granny Apple Green. Again, there's not much room for shading. If you wanted to try and get a bit of the dark in there as well, you could do. But we're just going fairly quick to show you how to make this fun fold card. As always, you can spend a lot more time on your colouring, but you don't want to sit there and watch me colouring for hours. Well, although some people say it can be quite therapeutic. We've just had Storm Eunice come through the south of the UK yesterday, and I think the winds are fairly strong again today, nowhere near as strong, and the rain is pelting down, so perfect day for a spot of crafting and a bit of video making. So I'm just colouring in this grass, just giving some flicks, and I will continue along here as well. On to our second panel, and I have stamped Finding a Friend is the Best Discovery of All. I've stamped that in Memento up the top, hoping I can get it straight on camera. It's hard sometimes on camera. And then I've got our hedgehog, and I've used the little one facing left for this one. So there's one that faces right and one that faces left. So I've used the little one that faces left, and he is in Early Espresso. And he's just going to sit down there. So it really actually looks almost like black, but it's not. And then I do want that black open again, just because I'm going to put a bit of grass next to him. And then that's going to be coloured in with green. When I stamp with Memento, I do just give it a minute, especially because I know that Memento pad is quite juicy to dry. I don't want to go straight over there. It's the right ink to use with your blends, but I don't want to go straight over before it's had a chance to dry into the paper. So this is the crumb cake again. And I've just gone underneath there. And then this is the light crumb cake. I'm just going to work into that. It's running out, like I said, desperately need a new one. And it's twice now I've forgotten to order one. And then to do his kind of spines, just short, sharp flicks with the blend, because if you coloured it all in one go, what you wouldn't get is that white. I want some areas of white left because that's going to look like highlights, and I think it just gives a real nice texture. And then I'm just going to go over that with the light blend, but again, I'm not going to kind of colour like I did down here, just doing those short sharp flicks, and then that will give us the texture of his spines. So that's our inside panel. A little bit of green for the grass. I'm just doing this in light. You could do this in light and dark as well. I'm just going to go underneath here, just to give the impression that he's sitting on the grass there. So that one is all ready to layer onto that panel that we created earlier. And then what I need is just a little scrap of basic white. And in Memento again, I'm going to stamp myself one of the mushrooms. This is such a cute mushroom. One of the mushrooms, a butterfly, and a hedgehog facing the other way, so the one that's facing the right. And again, I'm going to stamp that in early espresso. So this is the Dark Poppy Parade, and I'm just going to start colouring in this mushroom. So underneath there is dark, and then just round the edges here, try and give it a bit of a 3D shape. Just do some dark as well. And then we can go in with the light and try and blend that out, trying to avoid those white circles because I want to leave those white. Tip with alcohol markers is that they bleed, so you don't want to go all the way up to the line and lay a lot of ink down because it will seep over the edges. I'll be running another Stampin' Blends course later in this year, so if you fancy joining and learning a little bit more about our alcohol markers, I'd love to have you join along because they're, you know, it's a bit of an art to using them, a bit of a knack, and it can really help just to sit down sometimes and have a bit of help, a bit of guidance, all the kind of tuition in the same place. This is the dark crumb cake, again just under here, in those dark areas. Go in with the light, desperately hoping this doesn't run out completely before I finish colouring my hedgehog in for you. Ah, a bit of sunshine coming out. I don't know if you can see that. It's definitely not blue sky, but it's clouds parting a little bit. And again, same technique. Oh, don't forget his ear. I forgot the ears a couple of times when I was making all my samples. So I'm just going to swing him round just because it's easier for me flicking from left to right. And you don't need to go all in the same direction. He's got a few hairs poking up. Find whatever's easiest and more comfortable for you. And again, you don't want too much white space either, so finding that balance really. Depends how much patience you've got as well. That'll do me, I think. And then for the butterfly, I've simply gone for balmy blue. A little bit of dark balmy blue in there. And then I've left his body and the outer wings white. I didn't like it when I tried kind of to go too much over that. So I'm just going to fussy cut these ones but there is a punch for Mr. Hedgehog. How much mess am I making on the camera? Oh no, we look okay. Come back a bit that way. I'm not the cleanest crafter. So by the end of these videos, normally my desk is a mess. I just try and keep this grid paper clear so that you can still see what we're doing. So I've forgotten to colour this grass in. That's okay, we can go and do that in a sec. Just going to cut around it. A little bit fiddly, but worth it. There, and then our butterfly. Obviously, if you've got other stamps that you want to use for this, you can use other stamps. I'm sure there's loads of things that you could create a pull tab card for. So that's our butterfly. He's going to go up here just on a dimensional. Hedgehog's going to come over here on the left, up on a dimensional again, and that's going to stick flat. So I could have stamped that one directly onto the card, but for some reason I did not. So a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue. Just going to stick nicely like that. And then we need to colour that grass in before I forget. Hello, sorry about that, little technical difficulty. All I did was I finished off colouring, cutting and sticking on my elements. So the butterfly and the hedgehog are stuck up on dimensionals. This cute little mushroom was stuck flat there, so the hedgehog just kind of crawling his way over it. And then this was a piece of design service paper from the hand-penned DSP, and I've got the classic label punch. This one is. If you don't have it though, you could just cut a hole roughly this shape and size. So it's about halfway top to bottom, but then not fully in. So I've just gone as far as it will go in. I've pulled it back a little bit just to get my hole off-centered to the right. And it will sit like that on there. Then I've got this piece of cardstock. This is Poppy Parade again. And I've used the Delightful Tag punch. So on the long end, so it was 6 inches by 2 inches, scored at 2 and 2 1/4, and then pop the long end in there and punch down. My one's a little bit, needs a bit of a helping hand. And then what that's going to do, it's going to slide through that hole and it's going to sit just like this. And then that's going to be our slide-in mechanism. So to assemble, what we need to do is we need to pop some red tape pop some red tape just down that section there. Try and get this right. I must admit I had to make this 3 times when I was trialling it. I just could not get it right. So I'm going to try and take you through step by step. The easiest way of doing it. So I'm going to line that up against my grid paper. And you're going to want to stick this right up against the edge. So that it's as straight and as kind of dead on halfway as possible. Okay, that's our first flap. So red tape was the best I found. Multi-purpose liquid glue is what I've used on this one, but it's starting to come away in places, and tear and tape's too thick, so that thin red tape is the best I've found. And then this little one is going to sit just on the inside here, so you're just going to want to put glue just on this section. And then stick that one, again butting it up against the left hand edge, and then leave that to dry. Okay, so that's our stamping mechanism, our folding mechanism. And then we'll put it all together. So this is going to fit now through here. I'm hesitating because it's only just long enough, isn't it? Only just long enough, whereas this one sticks out a fair way. So maybe this was the 6.5, but it won't then fit in my card. So I think this is good. I think we're going to go for it. What we're going to do is we're just going to put a bit of ribbon on the end, and that's going to help us to pull it. And then it'll definitely fit in our envelope. That's really important. You need to be able to send it. So I've got some of this kind of white seam binding ribbon. And I'm just going to cut a length trim off that end. So I've put it through here, so I've got my mechanism, I've pushed it through there. I'm going to tie this on before I stick it all down, just to make it a bit easier for me. Again, you could cow's tail it however you wanted to. I'm just going to tie, because it's quite a thin ribbon, I'm just going to tie it in a double bow, a double knot rather. And then just trim those ends. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You see, you've got plenty to pull on there. So let's go for it, shall we? So all we're going to do now is pop some glue, okay, just on this right hand section of this panel. So I'm going to get rid of that red card to begin with. So on this small panel on the inside, I'm just going to stick some glue down there. And then what you're going to do is flip it over, and you're going to try and line up that outside, that bigger panel, so that it's kind of as square as you can get. Top, bottom, left and right. And then give that a good stick down. Okay, and then when you stick this bit down onto your card, can you see how that's going to flip open? But only if this bit can still move. So you're going to need to put glue all round. But not anywhere near that tab. And then that is going to stick centrally onto our card front. And then we have our mechanism. So this is a little bit short, I will give you that. I don't know, you might want to make that tab just a little bit longer, maybe 6¼ inches. But I think it still works, as long as the person knows that they need to pull it. Cute, isn't it? And then you can decorate the inside however you wish to. So all I did with mine was that little mushroom in the corner, and I'll pop a few gems on it. Just the basic rhinestones. To finish it off. There we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, my apologies for the technical difficulty in the middle. And if you want that tab just a little bit longer, give that a go at 6¼ inches by 2 inches, and then still score it at 2 inches and 2¼ inches. And that'll give you just a little bit of a longer pull tab. But it works absolutely perfectly as it is, especially with a little bit of ribbon on the end there, just to help that pull in and out. You don't want it sticking out too far, because I think that one like impacts on the card. So somewhere in between that one and that one, then you'll be good to go. Right, thank you ever so much for joining me. Again, my name's Heather, the Songbird Stamper, and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. My blog, www.thesongbirdStamper.co.uk, is always getting more and more updates, more and more kind of posts, things going on, news. Everything should be on my hub there on the website. So check me out if you haven't already. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys. See you next time. Bye for now.